371st Contact January 7, 2005, 0012 am. Billy says, I would like to know what you have to say in relation to the beauty craze of the Earth people. By this, I particularly mean the things that concern the body in a direct manner, such as liposuction, cosmetic surgery, cushioning of the breasts and buttocks, etc. with implants, excessive hangings with gems and other things, and so on. In my opinion, there is no normal and healthy thinking and feeling behind this if there are no good medical reasons that require the body-changing procedures to be made, or am I mistaken here? Patar says we have studied these concerns thoroughly and have analyzed 2,476,067 women and men around the world in every detail, in terms of their motives and their psychological conditions, which has led to a startling result in a few cases, namely with 211,531 of these, justifiable medical reasons existed, but the rest of the entire great mass, without exception, allowed medically senseless operations to be made on their bodies. The reasons for this were based solely on inferiority complexes, as well as on paranoid conceptions, respectively on delusions, but also on pathological imaginations, stupidity, and foolishness. Billy says, so does this mean that all are abnormal, so to speak, who allow such operations to be made on their bodies, without there being any compelling medical reasons for such? Patar says abnormal is, perhaps, not the right word, for such people are sick in their thoughts and feelings. Only in this form can something be said to be abnormal, and this is because sickness is not normal but rather a defective condition, as this is also true of stupidity and foolishness. Billy says, I imagined something like that because people can't be quite right in their heads if they, through abnormal thoughts and feelings, can allow such snipping around on their bodies because they desire to fight and cheat nature with regard to their physical beauty. Patar says people who do such things are just as impaired in their thoughts and feelings through paranoid influences as those who, through the adorning of pieces of jewelry, respectively through piercings in all sorts of body parts and in the teeth, are of the opinion that they would attain a beautification of body through this. Billy says, for my part, I find such things to be disgusting, especially padded buttocks and breasts that are enhanced with implants. This, along with the fact that such pump works and cushion works look unesthetic and disfigure the body. Patar says that is also what I feel. But the more that earthly humanity grows, the more and more humans will appear, who succumb to such senseless things, for humans become more and more soft and no longer content with what is natural. More and more, what is natural is regarded as unnatural and is no longer considered to be satisfactory and good because paranoid whims displace reality, which also leads to the fact that people succumb to psychological disorders when things don't correspond exactly to what they fancy and imagine. Thus, with women, somewhat small breasts can already lead to psychological disorders and to suicide. As with women and men, also many other mundane and absolutely insignificant things are commonly flimsy reasons for suicide. Billy says, since we're already talking about unnatural things, how does it stand with jogging and Nordic walking, or as such is called, with which two sticks become used by the hands? You once said that this is extremely harmful to the body and its organs. Patar says jogging and Nordic walking are likewise harmful to health because through these unreasonable sports, the skeleton and its joints are strongly impaired and damaged, as when great exertions are made, the body's organs and particularly all functions of the heart can be damaged, but also the lungs, the spleen, and the kidneys. But this likewise happens in other kinds of sports, such as in soccer, in various forms of snow and ice sports, as well as in cycling and all sorts of extreme sports. Overall, all types of sports are wrong for the physical training of the body if these go beyond the scope of what is normal. Described as normal is everything that doesn't belong to extremism, fanaticism, or exaggeration, and it is to be respected that even in normal sports, no excesses take place through larger exertions. Billy says thus, the slogan also applies to sports, that too much is unhealthy. But what is to be understood by normal sport? And what daily exercise does a person need? What about walking? Pata says normal paced walks of 20 to 30 minutes a day fully sufficient for the necessary physical exercise. If no walks are possible, then extensive gymnastic exercises for the same length of time are sufficient. Of course, walks or gymnastic exercises can be freely extended even longer, but they should always remain within the framework of what is reasonable and what is consistent with the condition of the skeleton and the constitution of the body. Special exertions are not necessary, but to the contrary, these can cause injury to the body, to its organs, its skeleton, and its joints, and this can be insidiously and quickly irreparable. Billy says thus, every extreme sport is completely wrong and is to be rejected. Pata says with regard to all kinds of extreme sports, the stupid and mistaken opinion prevails with the earth person that the person has to confirm himself through these, by going to the limits of his abilities and strengths. This fallacy also corresponds to a paranoid form, as this also appears with the beauty craze, and inferiority complexes coupled with stupidity and foolishness are also here. Billy says, and the most diverse sports fanatics, people fanatics, and sports idolizers, what is to be said of them? Do you also have these among yourselves? Pata says those are foreign to our peoples. According to our studies, which we have conducted here on earth in this regard, sports fanatics, people fanatics, and special fanatics, etc. are people who, in the absence of their own initiative, see themselves as incapable of creating a higher significance in relation to personality and character. Thus, these people remain dependent on the achievements of others, for through their fanaticism, they prevent the development of their own possibilities for owning their own abilities and talents and the width of developing their own character and their own personality. The end.